everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Hollywood Knitter. My name is Allison, and I will be your host today, and I'm recording from my home in Los Angeles, California, outside today. I wanted to get a podcast in, and it's a beautiful day, and my normal podcasting space is being occupied by my boyfriend who is watching a soccer game. So I thought I would take the opportunity to go outside and get a little sun and get a podcast out to you that way. Yeah, so let's go right into knitting. I'm wearing an FO. Oh, look, you can see the sun. I finished my Granito by Joji Locatelli, and this is I'm going to touch myself. And this is the Dragonfly Fibers Dance Rustic Silk in Zombie Apocalypse colorway that I picked up in 2017. And yeah, I'm really pleased with it. This rustic silk is almost like a linen blend, which is why I got it. It's a little lighter. It's actually a little warm for outside, but I think I'm going to be able to make it through the podcast. I'm going to back up so you can kind of see the full length of it, and then sit down and talk to you a second. Let's see. Oh yeah, you can see it in the sun though. So basically it's just a simple boxy rag, or not boxy, but simple sweater. The only cool thing is it has little outside pockets, and I did mine in a different color on the inside. It's actually got little pills. And I did want to show you because originally this pocket was, I wore this last weekend and this pocket fell down too much. Like it was like all the way down here because this dance silk does stretch, kind of like a linen. So what I actually did when I came back is I kind of just pinched the tops. So you can kind of see there's almost like a little pleat here. Still doesn't take away from the pockets, but it definitely makes them fit better. Like I was not happy with how kind of far they were coming out. So yeah, the other thing is it has a cool little braid across the top, the Latvian braid detail. And the designer is, as I said, Joji Locatelli. So it's beautiful, it's great. It's light, though, I mean, it is, excuse me, in the 70s here right now. Going to be in the 80s tomorrow. So spring has hit. The only other thing I didn't do too many modifications, but as I said, the contrast color is in Loopy U's dark gray, and the neck is a little tight. I think I did some modifications where I thought I was going to make it a little wider, and then I think I did it the opposite and made it a little smaller. So this, when I pull it over my head, it looks fine on, but I have a big head, so popping it over my head is a little difficult. But I used about 1,700 yards, and I'm really pleased with it. I ended up making the sleeves kind of long. I was debating on actually quarter-length sleeves, but it didn't really work. I wanted them longer. So this is gonna kind of be like a mid-weight sweater for me, so I'll actually probably get a lot of use out of it in LA because it is lighter, but it's still pretty warm with this Dance Rustic Silk. Not sure how it's gonna, I did block it, I did wash and block it, soak block it, but I think I could actually use the washer dryer, well, not the dryer, but the washer, but I won't need to wash it again for a while. So yeah, this is my first sweater of 2019. Pretty happy with it. This is one of my make 9s. So fingering weight sweaters tend to take me a while, and so this one took me about 2 months, which is actually really fast, and that's what I'm hoping to do a few more this year on that same kind of time. I finished a pair of socks and I forgot them. Let me pause this. I'm back. Sorry. So the other FO I have is a pair of socks for the boyfriend, and these are kind of a mix of a Sockmatician's Toe Up, and then the pattern is from Hermione's Everyday Socks, and the yarn is Material Culture Fiber Arts in Modern Era is the sock base, and Blackberry Christmas is the colorway. So yeah, so these are my new big man sock lockers. That just feels awkward holding it that way. So yeah, these are now gonna, and this is my new kind of go-to pattern for sock toe-ups, and it's got like a turn heel, There you go, you can kind of see it. It's hard in this yarn, and I'm really liking it. I haven't had a chance to wear too much of it, but I like how it's knitting up. So those are my only 2 FOs. Also, sorry, the cat is stalking something. So now playing, I cast on a new project. And sorry for the awkwardness of it. It's like my neighbors were about to come out and they're new neighbors, and I don't usually record out here, so it's kind of awkward. I don't like to record around people, so, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep going because I definitely want to get this out. So I cast on a new shawl, and this is another one of my Make 9 using stash yarn, and it is For the Love of Spiders by Melanie Berg, and I've got kind of the top going, and this is kind of like got 3 different sections. I'm almost done with the first section, which involves a lot of solid, and then this is like a slip stitch in the gray, and then I'm about to do, I think, more alternating color. I don't think I have a copy of the, let's see if I can show you what it's gonna kind of look like. Yeah, so it's gonna look like that. So the next section I'm almost to, and the yarn is Forbidden Fibers that I picked up at Cognitive Fiber Retreat in 2016, and this is her Bowel base, which is an 80-10-10, so it's got cashmere in it and fuchsia fish, and then the other one I'm using is Justice Base, which is 70% merino, 20% yak, 10% nylon. So together, I thought there'd be more contrast in this, but I think it's still gonna be nice. I'm liking the colors. So not really any modifications. I'm following the pattern. It's a well-written pattern. It's a paid-for pattern, but I'm about to finish, as I said, and go on to the next kind of section, and we'll see how it goes. I have a goal of finishing it. I'm hoping it will be a pretty simple section repeat that I can knit on with people. I'm not sure, but not really making any modifications. As I said, the only tip I'm following, which is actually in the pattern too, is I don't want a tight top edge. This is a triangular shawl. It has a knit 2 border, and so I'm knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, and then when I get back to that yarn over, I drop it on the next row, and that creates an edge that doesn't stretch, has more stretch. So I'm following that. I cast on another pair of socks because I needed a pair of socks to bring to travel. I was out of town last weekend, and I decided I wanted to do another sock for my niece, and I actually have already finished one. I'm gonna be doing just simple shorty socks for her, and I wanted to do it from scrap yarn. So like, these are some mini balls I had for my blanket that I took out. I'm not at all sure where these yarns are, so I kind of used a gray toe, and then I did it up. And this is actually semi-solid. Here, I got it in the ball because I'm starting the other one, and I'm striping 2 stripes of this with a solid and 1 stripe. And I did that for this purple, and then I did it for this one. It's actually striped in a light purple, and then this is a gray, and then I did a gray. And yeah, and because she's almost 9, her feet are a little shorter. These are 64 stitch. And I made them a little longer than last time with the idea that since I made her socks last year, which were shorties and she wore a lot, she's probably grown a little bit. So I made these about I think a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, I'm not really sure, stretch wise, bigger. So they might still be a little too long for her, but I still think she'll be able to wear them and get into them. So I finished the first sock, and I have done the toe and just started the foot on the second one. But these go really fast. Like, these went really fast for me for a sock. I think I did these in less than a week. So that will be good. What else do I have to do? Yeah, neighbor's out doing something. So yesterday I decided to switch from my winter wardrobe to my summer wardrobe, and also use it as an opportunity to really get rid of things that I haven't worn in the last year and a half. Even if they're totally good and useful and I might wear them someday, I said, okay, now's the time to really be a little brutal and get rid of a few things. So I went through and pulled some winter stuff and looked through a lot of stuff, like just looked through things. Things were old, ragged, had stains. I threw them away, and anything that was still good obviously is going to go to Goodwill, and I got rid of a big trash bag. And as part of that, I was looking at my knit sweaters. Now, they obviously have a different criteria for getting rid of, so none of them I actually got rid of, but I was looking at one and saying, okay, why didn't I wear this? And it's one I finished last year late, and that was the Brinja cardigan, and this was just supposed to be kind of a throw-on house cardigan. And when I finished it, I don't know if you remember, I didn't like the top of this because I had a ton of fabric here, like a ton. And at the time when I finished it, I was like, oh, it's just gonna be a house one, it'll be fine, I'll wear it. But what ended up happening is that I didn't reach for it. I didn't want to wear it. It was too uncomfortable with all that fabric. So when I was looking at it yesterday, I was like, you know what? Let me just sit down, rip it out, and re-knit from pretty much the underarm to the top, because it was knit from the bottom up. The sleeves came in, and then you did all of the yoke and did decreases there. So I did that yesterday, and it's because this is Lion Brand Fisherman wool. It's a woolly, 100% worsted weight wool. I've already got back up here, and I'm now just, let me see if I can hold it. Here's the sleeve. So I'm basically just doing increases faster here. Oh, you can see my 2-color thing. This I still have, the 2-color, but that I'm okay with. And so I increase, because before it calls for like decreases every 4th row, and so now I'm doing them every other row. And even still, like, I got to the point and I was just calculated, I'm like, okay, if I go at this, keep going at this rate, where am I going to get back to where I was? And it's still going to be too long. So I'm about to, instead of decreasing 8 stitches every row, I'm going to increase that significantly and basically do 16 every row for the next few rows, and see where that gives me for the top. So we'll see. I'm kind of making it up as I go. But when I ripped out the top, I had 2 of these balls. Now I decided, instead of, because these are 2 different colors and I was striping them before, instead of striping them, I am now just knitting with the 1 color, and then I'm going to go back so there's more color block. But I've already knit this much of that ball just yesterday, and I'm anticipating I'll use all of this, and half of this is what I'm kind of going for to get less fabric. So yeah, and I got rid of some because when I cut it out, it was all woven in and everything else, and so I did have to get rid of some yarn just from cutting it. So yeah, doing a little sweater surgery. Hopefully that will work out and go from there. The other thing I pulled out to bring, because I have worked on it and I haven't showed you in a while. I'm going to stack this stuff in front of me. Hopefully it works. This is how much I had left for my granito. And the swatches. I did keep the 2 swatches. So that is actually going to go. Pull this out carefully. These are all how I kind of keep my little ball separated. And I brought, because it's going to look great outside too, my fingering weight linen stitch sock yarn blanket. And I got 3 inches done in March. Isn't it so pretty? You guys have all seen this, but basically I am doing 1 color each row and then cutting it off and knotting and fringing. And I'm using all of my sock scraps and other ones I picked up, and yeah, so I'm about, gosh, how many am I into it? I'm up to 42 inches, so I've got 30 inches to go. So I'm over the halfway point, which is awesome. And I am still picking up every so often, like most of the people go through phases. I'm watching because the new neighbors, they have dogs, which is fine, but my cat who's out with me, likes to be outside with me. She gets a little scared. I think at one point, because we're separated by fences, but at one point she must have sat too close to the fence, and they have like a a Boston Terrier, so it's a small dog, probably as big as the cat, but he must have like got his head through the fence a little bit and like slobbered on her, and she was just traumatized. More than slobbered on her, I think tried to bite her, and they had said that not very fond of cats. But if she stays in her own yard, she's fine, which she does, but I think she was just trying to test the waters and see how close she could get, which was pretty damn close. I'm gonna open a little water. So that's kind of all my knitting. I've been pretty excited. I've been pretty getting through stuff, which is what my goal is for this year, is to get through stuff. My make 9, I think I'm gonna get through. So after this shawl, I'm gonna cast on another sweater. I think it's gonna be short sleeve, you know, kind of for summer wear. And then getting through stash. You know, this is 2016 stash. I gotta cast on another pair of socks because I'm gonna finish my niece's socks in. Always have to have socks on the needles as a go-to project. So what else? I had a giveaway and it closed today because it was going to close when I recorded, and I had 15 entries, so thank you everyone for entering. And the prize was the Narwhal Cowl Kit. Show it here. Includes yarn, projects, bag, and pattern to do the Narwhal Cowl, which was designed by Queen City Yarns, and it's an inner yarn, and the bag is by Kitchen Counter Crafter from my friend Jenny, and I picked that up in Virginia Beach, and the winner of that was number 4, Angelic Embers. So just go ahead and contact me with your mailing info, and I will get that out to you in the mail. Angelic Embers, and I did not have the time to look at what your name was on Ravelry, so I apologize. Since I last talked to you, I went to WonderCon, which is a local comic book convention. It's done by the same people who do San Diego Comic Con, which is a big one. This is a smaller one. Ooh. I get to say hi to my cat. Who's outside? She always has to be outside when we're outside. She pretty much follows us like a little puppy. Now she's gonna have a coughing fit because I touched her. So yeah, so that was fun. We go down there and stay. It's in Anaheim, which is only 45 minutes from my house, but we go down there, and I didn't go to any panels or anything this year. We just spent kind of all day walking around the floor. There's so much cool art. I really wish I collected art, especially comic book or superhero or anything like that based, because there's so many independent artists who do great renditions of all of these different characters in different ways. But alas, I'm not. And I'm trying not to do stuff, bring stuff in for the sake of stuff. I did see there were 2 tables that had done little crochet like octopuses and put cool eyes on them. I mean, a lot of them, and they were really cute. I think actually his son bought one as a gift for a friend. And so, you know, I'm all about crafters doing a niche and finding a way to sell their crafts. So they were all crochet, and they were like small little ones. And I did say I could have made him one, but I totally approved of him supporting a crafter and buying one. And even though I could have made it, doesn't mean I would have made it. That's kind of it. Work has been really busy, and some family stuff. I've been going through, my family has been going through some stuff. My dad has been sick for a long time. He has COPD, which is basically starts to restrict his breathing over time, and he's on oxygen. And he's been in the hospital for the last 2 weeks, and with a collapsed lung, and they weren't able to totally fix it, and they basically have now referred him to hospice. So we're definitely at the tail end of this, and yeah, so that's been really hard and really sad. I've been just kind of waiting to see if I needed to go home, like if this was gonna be it. It's not. I've called him pretty much every day, and he's in great spirits in the hospital, but he's definitely closer, and that's kind of scary and hard to deal with. It's like he has been sick for a long time, but he's lasted a lot longer than the doctors expected, and so we've kind of just been enjoying the time we have, knowing it is limited, but now like the finish line's in sight, and that's always a little scary. So yeah, so I'm going to be going home for, this is the reason I went home for Christmas for a full week, and I hadn't done that in a while. I'm going to go home next month, I think for Memorial Day, for a full week, just to spend some more time with them. It's really hard living so far away from my family. I live in California, my family lives in Rhode Island, so when things happen, I can't really help. So yeah, that's been kind of sad and a little off, but he's in good spirits, and yeah, so that's that. But I do get to go to a knitting retreat next weekend, and I was worried I was going to have to cancel, but they say no to go, so I will be heading up to the Northern California Knitting Retreat. This is my 5th year, I don't know how long it's been going, but it's a great retreat putting on by the Northern California Knitters and hosted by the 2 Knitlet Chicks and the Yarniacs, and it is just a great relaxing weekend of hanging out and knitting in a beautiful location in San Juan Bautista. So I will actually be driving up next Thursday. Last year I flew, and then this year I just decided I'm going to drive, and then I was really happy to, because if I'd had to worry about the plane ticket situation and everything too, it would have been stressful than it was. But I'm going to drive up myself on Thursday. It's about a 5-hour drive, and stay till Sunday and then come back. So I'm looking forward to that, seeing all my knitting friends and making sure I have projects on the needles that I can knit. That's the reason for a sock, and I think I'll be able to work on the shawl too, and then I think I'm going to cast on for like a DK hat. And yeah, so then upcoming travels, as I said, Northern California next weekend, and then I'm going to go see my family and stay for a full week over Memorial Day, which is actually a great time because my niece's birthday is a few days before Memorial Day, and the other reason I was going is my nephew is graduating from high school, so I wanted to go out for that. And in June, I will be going to the Zombie Apocalypse, and I am now confirmed for Rhinebeck in October. I still have to get the house. I'm renting the house for everybody. We were just trying to figure out numbers, and so that's actually on my list to do today and get that out. So I will be at Rhinebeck this year, which is nice. And yeah, the rest of the summer, I'm not sure. We had talked about a family vacation, but that was going to take us out of state, so probably I might end up going and seeing the family again in July or August. Yeah, that's kind of all I have. So hopefully you've enjoyed today. Hopefully there haven't been too much background noise. I hear puppies saying, and they're doing something in the yard, and my cat just keeps away. She's on the other side now, but she's watching. She's sitting in the sun, and she likes it. It's a beautiful day. So anyways, I hope everyone is having a beautiful weekend and takes the opportunity to hug a loved one. You should always hug your loved ones and tell them how much you love them. And I will be back in probably another month, so end of April, beginning of May, and tell you how everything has been with the Northern California Knitting Retreat. Hopefully I'll have some FOs to show. Anyways, if you were looking for me, you can find me as Allison1031 on Ravelry or Instagram, and that's where you can find me. Anyways, that's a wrap from Hollywood, where fantasy meets fiber and dreams are knit.